In this episode, Golden and I discuss Stargirl Season 2, Full Speed Ahead.
The Omega Beam. Full power. The Omega Beam.
Welcome to the Omega Beam number 158. I'm your host, Oren Merton. So Stargirl is one of the newer CW superhero shows, but it started with a strong first season, and we went into Season 2 with high expectations. We do a bit of spoiler-free review in the front, and then we do quickly move into spoilers. So let's get to it. I am here with Golden to talk about Stargirl, and Season 2 is subtitled Summer School. So the entire 13-episode season takes place during the summer school that Courtney Whitmore has to go to because she
prioritized incorrectly.
Yeah, she prioritized her Justice Society of America do-gooding over her studies, and so now she has to make it up. So Stargirl was one that we weren't initially too excited about it. We were like, okay, it's a CW show.
But we really enjoyed season 1.
Yeah, we watched it because it's CW superhero, it's Berlanti, they tend to be at a certain level, and we were very pleasantly surprised with how good it was. So with that in mind, how did you feel about Season 2?
Season 2 was definitely different. It was a lot darker than Season 1. Season 1 was all about them coming together, and Season 2 was watching them get pulled apart.
Yeah, I would agree. And if Season 1's tone was sort of wholesome and summery, even as it got more melodramatic with the ISA, the Injustice Society, this season went, I'd say, especially in the latter half of the series, and I'm going to be spoiler-free for a little while, but I'll get spoilery later, but spoiler-free, in the latter half of the season, the direction gets very horror movie-y. I mean, this is obviously a show for all ages, and it's not gory, but I'd say very sort of PG horror movie style of filming.
Oh, they've gone there with Riverdale, which you don't watch. And that one was even darker at times. But it was just kind of nice to see how other people were starting to get involved, how her little brother is feeling.
Yeah. And
how does that come out, and how does that affect them? And it is very poignant in terms of he gets this chance to do something. They find out that the only reason he got to do that was how he was feeling. And they weren't aware of it. They weren't aware of how isolated he was feeling.
Yeah, for a show that is as comic booky as this one is, the relationships between the characters do seem very real and very grounded. And I think that is what helps make this show so engaging. So I'm going to get into some spoilers now. So the bottom line is, it looks great. It's a really engaging, interesting story. It gets deeper into the lore. The special effects are at the level of the other CW shows. The music is at the level of the other CW shows. The Berlanti shows always have this sort of sheen and quality where they're never that bad, no matter what. They're always cast well, they're filmed well, the music is good, the effects are good. So that is already taken care of. And then the specific team that makes Stargirl also had some good writers, some interesting directors, and the story is absolutely worth following, and the characters are worth following.
So who do you think Starman was asking in terms of trying to find Pat? Do you think that was his ex-wife? Mike's mom? Because I didn't think Mike's mom was around anymore. Yeah,
I think that was Pat's ex-wife. I don't think she was dead. I think that she just left him. And I think that was...
And she's just not involved in...
Have we sort of unofficially dipped into spoilers? I mean,
I think we did.
This has very little effect on the story, by the way.
It's interesting that this just was thrown in, and we have Starman trying to find Pat, and you kind of, during the season, I'm like, okay, is Starman going to show up now?
Yeah.
Is Starman going to show up now? Is Starman going to show up now?
Right. So we'll say 3, 2, 1 spoilers at this point. For those who
comment to go. Yeah.
Yeah, comment to go. For those who saw season 1, you do know that Starman, the real Starman, is looking for Pat, his former sidekick who is now mentoring the new young high school age JSA. And he's looking for them at the end of last season. And so this season begins, literally episode 1 begins with him trying to track him down. And so you're wondering the whole season as all this nasty stuff is going on. Is he going to show up? I mean, why did we do that? Why did we find out about him? And of course, he does show up, and it's great. It's great that he I mean, first of all, I enjoy
Joel Hale.
I enjoy him. He's fun to watch on screen. So I think he was well cast. And I think the way they brought him in, I thought, at the very, very end, was really good. All Berlanti shows, the finale tends to, part of the heavy lifting it's doing is it wraps up the season, but then there's also the denouement after the show where it sort of sets up the next season or the next half season if we're talking about a mid-season finale. So his arrival both helps wrap up season 2, but is also clearly set up for...
empowering the current Starman or Stargirl.
Yeah, and that's, he's very clear. He walks in at one point and he says, I don't want to take the staff away from you. So he's completely comfortable with the fact that someone else has been chosen, and he accepts that entirely.
I don't like the flip-floppy with Courtney. At the very beginning, she just doesn't want to trust the new Green Lantern girl because she's too perfect. I don't think it was necessary.
Yeah, no, I
it's
understand.
It's just a little extra drama that I don't really feel served enough of a purpose.
Right. I think kids can be flip-floppy.
They can, but it just, that really kind of bothered me because we'd seen her always as seeing the best in people. Right. And it's like, what happened to the character?
Yeah, just jealousy, I would imagine. A certain level of jealousy.
And then you have the redemption of Cindy Berman.
Right. Well, it's semi-redemption, we'll say.
Cindy's had a really horrible life.
Yeah.
In terms of how she was treated, and not that she all sins forgiven, but is it better for someone to have to pay for their mistakes? Does that outweigh them turning around and living a good life and being beneficial to the community and people?
Right. And I think that's one of the strengths, if you will, of Stargirl, of Courtney. A few weeks ago, there's our episode on Spider-Man No Way Home, and the strength and the tragedy, if you will, of Spider-Man is that he lives his life in service. He will always help other people. He wants to save people, whether they're good or bad. That's who he is. And I think there's some of that in Courtney as well. That, like you said, I mean, she got kind of persnickety and jealous of Green Lantern, which didn't need to happen. But I think she also has that side of her where if someone meets her halfway, no matter how angry she is at them, she will give them that second chance because it's her character.
I don't think that the mental play that was coming in with the Division had already started by then.
No, I don't think it had.
I think, honestly, it's teenage drama, and between her and Cameron, she likes Cameron. Mm-hmm. She needs to, if you wait for grandparents to tell Cameron, he's going to hear their perspective and everyone else is bad. If it comes from their side, Cameron's going to have a different outlook.
Right.
Well, and it's one of those, whoever tells him the truth first.
Right. Well, that's season 3. Now we're getting into season 3.
That goes back to my whole, I'm just going to stop watching Supergirl if Lena Luthor ends up turning on Kara because she wasn't honest with her at first.
Right. They do resolve that.
Yeah, I know that they resolve it.
Yeah.
But I bowed out for a while because it completely turned me off from those characters in Supergirl, and I'll get to that when we talk about Supergirl.
Right, when we talk about Supergirl, we'll go into that. The when we do get to Supergirl, it will be not just season 6, but it'll also be a series wrap-up because Supergirl is now a complete series. They finished it.
I really like how Beth Chappell was one of the strongest characters this season.
Absolutely.
The guy tries to get into her head and tries to get her to be afraid and scared. And this is someone who's kind of lived with that and lived with people trying to turn on her all the time or because she is different. She sees herself as different and as the loner. And it's not happening with her because she's found an inner strength that a lot of the other people haven't had to have.
Right. And I think it's particularly excellent in the sense that Courtney Whitmore is incredibly fit, an amazing gymnast, white and blonde, and, and she has the magic staff, so she's sort of blessed, if you will. And Beth doesn't have that. She's not, she doesn't have the perfect figure. She's not a blonde white girl. And she has as much, if not more, strength of personality. And I think you could argue that ultimately when Eclipso has them all in his grasp, that it's Beth who's able to, it's her strength that in effect saves them all. I really liked that. I like how they kind of took the every girl, if you will, and made her in some ways the strongest of character at the very least, not necessarily physically.
Yeah, no, that's what I was speaking to.
Yeah. And I like how all through the series, Pat Dugan is soft-spoken, patient, rational, etc. And then in the very last episode, but, at the same time, there's this sense that he's a little bit pent up, that he's been a soldier and he's incredibly talented mechanic and built Stripe and was the sidekick for the original Starman and the JSA. And there's this feeling that he's holding back. And then I loved how in the finale, when he is confronted by the uncle of, I forgot the character's name, Hourman, the boy Hourman, and his abusive uncle,
confronted by Cole.
Yeah, Rick's abusive uncle, who's basically willing to completely destroy Rick's life just to get back at him. That you finally see the calm, collected Pat just reach his limit and just say, "Okay, well, it's time for me to show my other side." And it was great to see that,
Was that the very last episode?
I think so, yeah. And it was great to see that he also, as reserved as he is, when push comes to shove and he needs results, he has some fire there. And then, of course, also at the end, Eclipso makes him fight himself, which was also pretty amusing. A pretty amusing fight there. I also like how they brought in a few of the original JSA, linking this new team to the original team. They brought in the original Dr. Midnight. They brought in, obviously, Pat's been there the whole time. They brought in Starman at the end of this one. I think it's a nice passing of the torch.
And I enjoyed the Shade character.
Yes.
I honestly didn't think from the beginning that he was the villain, but I don't think that it's necessary. You can just enjoy the character.
Right. He is...
for his quirkiness.
Exactly. He's one of those characters who you're never quite sure until the end whose side he's on. But I like that. I think they handled it very well.
Good chaotic neutral.
Yeah, he's in for himself, but he has a conscience. Yeah. And
maybe chaotic good then. Yeah.
He'll use people. Well, I think the way he used Courtney was pretty chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Because, he put a child in harm's way to help himself. That's not a good character. A good being would not think to do that. Would say that, yeah, I can see how this might benefit me, but I really shouldn't. I mean, he obviously, the conscience, he turns around and says, yeah, that was a really shitty thing to do, and he tries to make good on it. But, he did do it initially. So.
Yeah, no, it was a very good season. If you enjoyed season 1 of Stargirl, I think that you'll very much enjoy season 2. And you gotta love the mechanic that comes in to help.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Zeke. Oh, yeah, so what's behind that door? And he's like, no, you don't need to go behind that door. And comes to a shop and the door's open and he's just, built yourself a robot. Okay. Yeah, no, we can put some flamethrowers in those arms. And he's just... It's not abnormal to him. He's just, right. This is kind of cool. Okay, yeah.
I thought one of and again, the finale, which it really stuck the landing. In case you haven't figured it out yet, we love the finale. This is a show, I mean, they were all good, but they really stuck the landing. And I loved how that mechanic character, Zeke, you mentioned, when the Thunderbolt shows up with Chinese food, mm-hmm. they start to explain to him, and he says, nope. Don't say it. Let me just take this in. It's just, he's in it for the wonder. I mean, he's enjoying it all. He is. He's having a great
Don't
time.
we all wish we could be more like him?
I know. He just enjoys. He's like, I'm helping the good guys. I'm doing a good thing, and I just want to enjoy it. I just want to enjoy being part of this. And it's a great character. It's played incredibly well, and it's that kind of show. This is not a quote unquote realistic comic book based show. They obviously are having fun, and it's for us to have fun. But at the same time, like Golden just said, season 2 improved, but expanded and improved on season 1, and because it is continually getting better, I have very high hopes for season 3 called Frenemies, because who in season 1 was the ISA, the Injustice Society of America. Now you've got Cindy Berman, who's ostensibly a good guy. You've got Shade, who's ostensibly a good guy. And now 2 of the bad guys, Sportmaster. Are they both Sportmaster? I don't remember their name exactly. They're villain names, but they moved next door because they got out of jail, and it's called Frenemies because now all these characters that were enemies are now friends.
Well, and those I think are 2 of the characters that got drawn into someone else's plan, but didn't necessarily have to be Sportmaster. Yeah, Sportmaster 1, Sportmaster 2. Well, Crusher, Croc, and Tiger, right?
Yeah, this is a show about finding people's good side, about giving people second chances. There are villains, there are evil, but like a lot of fairy tales and fables, the evil is very evil.
Well,
it's the mustache twirling, otherworldly evil.
One of the evils is lies.
Yeah.
Because you have, Artemis Croc, who's very upset, and she thinks that Courtney's a threat to her parents, that her parents are wrongfully, convicted and all of this. And when they're finally honest with her, she doesn't have the fire, the fuel for that fire that is one of the reasons that she's not going to be playing football the way that she wants to play football the next year.
Yeah, I think that from an ethical, moral, fable point of view, I think this is a good show for our era. It's a good show for young people, as well as just being an incredibly entertaining program for anyone of all ages. So, it's the kind of show that I'm glad exists. That at first I was like, really? Stargirl? They're making a show of Stargirl. I mean, I know the personal attachment that Jeff Johns has to this character because he created it in honor of his sister. But really, they're gonna make this one into a show.
So
but
we haven't
having
talked
seen it,
about
I'm like, yeah, this is great.
One particular character,
Okay.
who someone made friends with when we're talking about frenemies. How Rick Tyler, our man, was making friends and bringing food to Solomon Grundy. This is someone who is responsible for his parents dying, and he's able to let part of that go and see that Solomon Grundy's just a pawn, kind of.
Right. He's
a very large, overpowered pawn.
Right. He's able to see that Solomon Grundy was being used, and he was basically he was a weapon.
Manipulated.
Yeah, he was just pointed in a direction, and Rick is able to see the more vulnerable being inside that was being controlled. And
he comes to Rick's help.
Yeah.
And
on his own volition, not being controlled.
Yes, still sad.
It is sad, but they make it clear that, he's coming back. But yeah, Solomon Grundy has an interesting DC history. I believe he was originally a con man who died and was somehow brought back to life as this huge Frankenstein monster. And he is very often, sometimes he's just used as a straight up wrecking ball, and other time more of his original conscience comes back, because he was never like an evil guy originally. He was just kind of shady. And I think that he's used well in this series as well.
Interesting. We were talking about Zeke, the mechanic, right? King Orba. He's an experienced filmmaker. So he's more experienced behind the camera in the art department, and eventually those skills culminate into an accomplished career in film and TV.
Huh.
And then he's moved to now being in front of the camera.
Hey, how about that?
So I really enjoyed his character.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, Stargirl season 2.
Yeah, if you
Summer school.
absolutely. It streams for free on the CW, and I believe internationally it's on HBO Max after it airs on CW in the US. If it's something that would interest you, if you like these kind of CW Arrowverse, though this isn't, I think, Arrowverse, but the same people. If you like those superhero shows, this one's absolutely one of the better ones and definitely recommended. Well, thank you, Golden.
You're welcome.
And that's it for this episode. You can find the show notes at theomegabeam.com/158. If you like this episode, please leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Your reviews help people who like this stuff find our podcast. If you have any comments or suggestions, please drop us a line at info@theomegabeam.com. Be good to yourselves and each other, and we'll catch you next time.
The Omega Beam. The Omega Beam. Full stop.